This great video, ladies and gentlemen, we're promoting our scientific research dedicated to the transmission of SHAD technology and reminding you this is the system of active hidden defense. Today the third day of the seminar, and today we're going to talk about the specific features of this very technology. As far as well known, the main constructor as well the conductor of this scientific research is Lopatiuk, who is apart from being the founder of the Academy of Slavic Applied Science, is moreover the grand constructor of the new Brunswick Bill 613, as well as the chief director of the Austrian Scientific Research Institute, the United Society of Russian Science in Europe. So I'm happy to give the word to him. So mainly when we're talking about the difference between the SHAD technology and any other branch or setting, here first of all we have to know that this is the technology, but not the set of the delusions which you are dealing with when you are trying to study something else. That is, this is final, specific, fundamental, stable, unshaken technology based on certain fundamental knowledge and notions. And when we say that someone exploits the technology, when we say that someone exploits the SHAD, these 2 or 3 or more people who are exploiting it, they do not have the opinion towards this technology. They do not have their own vision towards this technology. This technology is the same while being unique for all the people who have it and for all the people who are, let me say, concerned somehow with this technology. That is, when the person is asked, who taught you, or what school do you practice, what school do you preach, the person actually has no answer, because he just thinks someone. He doesn't practice any school at all, because usually he practices just someone else's set of delusions. Here we are splitting the set of delusions, throwing it away and taking the technology. Because when the person comes and has some case to solve or some idea to practice, he has just one question: what am I to do right now? And the answer is you have to do nothing but exploit that technology. It's just like one specific feature that is equal for everybody who uses it and for everybody who exploits it. If let me say, for example, I have this SHAD and someone else we have the same one technology that is equal to both of us. And we cannot claim that we have our personal attitude, personal vision towards it. That's why when people, let me say, in the complex business security field task have this technology, they do not ask each other what they need to do or what else should be done. They already know by exploitation of the technology. Moreover, when we're talking about SHAD, we should know that one of the most inaugural advantages given by this technology transmit is that it makes the experts realize his task in the merits and according to the judicial and law backup of the country where he is solving the task. Let me say, all the actions and resurrections made on the basis of application of this very technology, they allow the expert or the professional or any sort of person who uses it do not, let me say, interfere with the judicial law system of the country or of the state where he is taking these actions. That's why right now, when we're talking the tendencies of the market of the 21st century, there is a group of people, there is a group of businessmen who really wants to create certain structure, to create certain powerful and, let me say, spineful structure, allowing to solve different tasks and allowing to protect themselves and their business, their enterprise from any sort of criminal structures. Let me say, even in case in Europe, there are lots of companies provide such service as the service of personal safety or complex business security. Still, the criminal structures are kind of rather active and they're kind of predictable, and the necessity of making and constructing such an enterprise or such a chain of enterprises is really, let me say, hot, and it's really necessary. That's why the group of, and especially when we're talking about the CIS countries, but not all the European countries, we're seeing these tendencies, let me say, up to the quite flavoring top point. That's why the group of people have collected together and they have decided to switch to recommendation of the advice of Electric Bridge Malcev, as he is the great constructor and as he is one of the best experts of the world in this very sphere. That's why he was asked to prepare, to teach 1,000 experts by transmitting SHAD technology in order to make them prepared and ready to solve the tasks in these spheres. That is, let me say, it's the financial investment project. There is a group of people, group of businessmen who want to create certain structure, a certain set of structures that will be like the back and shoulder, not only all these state structures or special intelligence secret service, but one more specifically handmade structures that will help to prevent the criminal settings and the criminal structures from abusing, from making and pushing any sort of case. That's why it was told that these people, these businessmen, they're ready to pay. They're ready to pay for the whole program of this technology transmission in order to make, set to business the whole structure consisting of 1,000 people who owe this technology, who know how to exploit it, and who solve the task on the basis of this technology. In case, of course, Oleg Viktorovich is ready to do that, and in case, of course, he is ready to prepare such people at all. So the main idea is, having prepared, having been one of these 1,000 people, having known this technology, the only one thing that unites these people is the school. The school is that very core component that concerns all these people and to which all these people are concordant with. So, the main idea, let me say, when there is the person, any sort of businessman, who is acting and taking certain actions in Russia, and he needs to find some person who is in Austria, for example, he needs quite much time in order to go buy tickets, find experts, go to Austria. He doesn't know the judicial backup of Austria, and he needs some experts helping him there in Austria. That takes too much time and quite much money, right? So, why not prepare such a branch? Actually, this is the Global Informative Residential Agency branch, like the whole sphere of people who are united by the same idea, by the same technology, who have the same set of priorities and the same set of responsibilities, who use and apply this same technology, that is, they have equal understanding and mutual consent towards what's going on. And these people are ready to collaborate with each other, they are already prepared and they know what to do. That's why these businessmen do not have to go themselves to Austria, let me say, from Russia. Because all they have to do is just take the phone, make a phone call, find the expert who is working in Austria, who have been already prepared on the basis of this technology provided by Oleg Viktorovich. And this helps to, first of all, save the time, secondly, save the money, and thirdly, this helps to build that second shoulder, protecting any sort of person from any criminal structure or from any sort of judicial abuse, ambush. So it's just like, firstly, of course, there is some state setting and there is some branch of state or country official departments who are already working with these criminal structures, and this is their sphere of influence and this is their sphere of work and collaboration. By this global informative agency chain and service, we're making one more setting, and by this, certain criminal structures, they appear in the circle being confronted with the two branches, with the branch of the state and with the branch of people who are prepared on the basis of SHAD technology. So it's just like the same, the principle of SHAD, that means that you're always putting one person or being confronted with two flying problems. So, of course, it's one of the greatest investment projects right now. It's one of the greatest financial investment projects because preparing 1,000 people, it takes quite much time, quite much effort, quite much attention, and of course that costs money. And in case the person wants to be prepared on such a way, in case he wants to be that 1 out of 1,000, he has to first of all know why and for what reason he needs that. He has to know that this is the working field, this is the collaboration field, this is not the field for easy money or something like that. This is the field where you have to know and where you have to respond for your own responsibilities, your own priorities before the people who are investing in you. And only having understood all these facts, having collected all these facts, and having proved that you are really that decent sort of person who should be invested upon, Of course, the contracts are signed and the people are prepared. This is the system, and the system doesn't differ quite much from the principles that are taken and that are ruled in our academy. I mean, in the Academy of Complex Business Security, being the faculty of Academy of Slavic Applied Science. All these working procedures, all these rules and regulations, they still are present. But in order to be that one out of 1,000, you have to understand and you have to see the reasons, the way outs, and the priorities. Moreover, when we're talking about this set of businessmen who asked for the recommendation and asked for the client-specific advice, and Viktorovich, actually these people were already prepared and they know the SHAD principles. And actually on the basis of this knowledge, they have decided to set this third project. This is really a great project because it's not the main idea of fighting against each other or destroying some criminal structures or something like that. Here we are applying the principle that the person cannot do two things simultaneously. He cannot watch and confront his actions against two attacks, against two vectors of attacks, like against two planes. We used to see all the things on the training field and we used to talk about previously. So the main idea is that by building the second area, the second plane, helps set the confrontational order by which any sort of criminal structure or any sort of person is just being split by these two vectors, by the state vector and by the SHAD vector. And the person, as far as you know, he cannot act against two attacking vectors simultaneously. He just been stopped in he has been stuck in the stopover and he doesn't know what to do. So this principle lies in the basis of this project. Moreover, having thought about the realization points of this project, we may claim that having started to use and realize this project, no one will be capable of making it stop. Why? Because first of all, the only one thing that unites all these people, I mean, let's say we have already this 1,000 people, is just the technology. You cannot use anything else. First of all, because you don't know this technology. Secondly, because people who are using it, they are living in different countries. Thirdly, because people living in different countries means that people are being ruled by different judicial aspects and by different laws, and splitting such a system that's been united just on the basis of one technology is really impossible. Moreover, the question may rise as for why should we use something special, why should we use this technology, just like a sort of technology. Why technology? Why not something else? And here the explanation is as follows. Let me say, we're living in the whole world. This whole world looks just like the blackboard, I mean this board. And in order to write or to draw, to sketch on the board, you need something. You cannot do it with your finger or with something else. You need the marker. You need something, some sort of instrument to write on the board. And the technology is just that instrument, just that marker, helping you to write on all sorts of boards you are dealing with. Is it? Moreover, by organizing such a project, we are facing such a thing that finally the tendency that needs the experts who are capable to cope with the tasks in the sphere of economy, I mean the economical business security field. This is the field that really lacks the experts, and this project allows to prepare all these experts and allows to make the whole working system by the collaboration of these experts being inside of it. Moreover, one of the most peculiar facts is that here in the 21st century, in the tendencies of the rat race, we have lots of velocities that have arisen so much that not so many people are capable to cope with them. Let me say, according to certain informational challenges, people are not getting ready to solve the task because they do not have the time. the lack of the time and no technologies do not allow people to do what is needed and what is necessary. Let me say, if right now we're having such a thing that lots of things are done automatically, lots of things are done by certain projects, by certain programs, I mean technically, without any usage and without any human resource, it means that the speeds are growing and the merits are expanding. Let me say, the transactions between different countries situated in different places of the world, it's not a piece of news anymore. But having made this transaction, you have to comport somehow with the complex business security aspect, and you have to do something with all the things. And how? What should be done in this field? Without the knowledge of SHAD, to do everything in this field would be just quite impossible. That's what we're seeing right now. That's why in order to cope with both the velocities, in order to cope with time, in order to cope with all this, as they say, technical evolution, in order to cope with all that stuff and prepare and set a decent group of people who are real experts, who are real professionals, this financial corruption is really just a kind of brilliant.
Use a 3 multi-level.
So here, certain experts and people who are working, let me say, for quite a long period of time on the international markets of personal safety and complex business security have expressed their attitude towards this project and towards this idea. And actually, the opinions are the same, that this is not only one of the greatest projects that will show the rest of the people who is the real professional, but also one of the strongest basic pillar, allowing to cope with any sorts of tasks that are always being faced by the majority of people who are involved in the contemporary market. Because as for the tendencies that we're seeing right now, lots of people do not know actually what they are doing. They do not know what they are using because they are using nothing except for their experience, of course. As of course, well-known experience, just a set of mistakes. And when the person is using the experience, finally he receives just, let me say, some expectations that he wanted to see, but he hasn't seen it in fact. And of course, when people are united by a certain doctrine and when they are united by a certain technology, and the others are seeing the difference between themselves and between those who are using the Slavic applied science and the technologies being constructed on the basis of this science. And of course they see that the difference is just like between the heaven and the hell. The difference is quite much, and so much that it pushes the rest of the people for the way of self-reflection, self-growing and disciplined self-organizing. That's why it's really a strong idea that may have very strong realization point. And of course the core component is is working already, and we are seeing and receiving the results already. That's why it's one of the most remarkable projects of all ever existing. So, right now the question is, will the program of SHAD technology transmission that we are having and proposing right now for the seekers of the technologies in our academy differ from the program of SHAD technology being provided in the merits of this project? And the answer is yes, the program will differ quite much. Because for those who are involved in this project, there will be just a certain scope of technological aspects for their working realization. It won't be like the full depth zone with all aspects involved. Whilst when we're talking about the program of the Slavic Applied Science Academy, we're talking about 1 year, very, let's say, stuffed program that consists of the transmission of 5 technologies. This is not only SHAD, but also the ISACs, the complex individual defense technology, the self-organized special technology, and the control technology. This is the full set of 5 technologies for realization in the sphere of complex business security and personal safety. Moreover, as for these grounds that we are already taking and applying on our faculties in the Slavic Applied Science, this is the great foundation for the spiritual faculty as well, because this is their first year of studies when these 5 technologies are being transmitted. And still here, when we're talking about certain methodological approaches, this is a very great and it's a working approach, because first of all, we're taking the military aspect and the military side, in case it could be called the military, let me say the warrior side. And being based on the warrior side, having prepared in the merits of this side, only afterwards we're pushing and going to the civil side, but not vice versa, as everybody else is doing right now. Because when you're starting with the civil, you're starting to face the warrior problems, and you're not prepared for their solutions. Whilst when you're prepared vice versa, everything's been managed and operated, and that's one of the most serious and important problems to be overcome. So right now we have interviewed one of the directors, one of the partners whose activities tightly connected with the sphere of complex business security, and still his opinion is concordant with the previous ones. And the main idea here expressed that as for the personal safety services, as for this project, of course it's very actual, but we cannot claim it's one and only. Because, let me say, there are all other fields, lots of other fields, where such aspects are really necessary. People are looking for them and they're not finding them. They're not finding the professionals because no one's preparing these professionals. And that's one of the greatest problems. That's why Oleg Viktorovich expresses such an idea that perhaps in the merits of, let me say, a year or a year and a half, one more peculiar project very probably will take its place on contemporary global market. That's why the psychosimological project, this is that very one that we're discussing right now. Because the sphere of applied psychiatry, as well as the whole notion of psychiatry, is really unknown for the rest of the people. And lots of people are already turning to the academy with certain questions and certain, let me say, polite requests, helping them to cope with their level of proficiency that is not the level of proficiency anymore. Maybe in a year or year and a half there will be found that person, that financial, and not only financial person, who will be the leader of initiating this very psychosimological problem and this psychosimological project covering this field, the field of psychiatric applied psychiatry. And as far as the tendencies are concerned, most probably the sphere of HR and in the human resource management sphere will be that closest one applicable sector of services that needs these knowledge and needs these technologies. Moreover, as Oleg Viktorovich is taking the suppositions right now, if someone else had come to him and asked him what he could have done in such a situation, in order to find whether it's, let me say, probable to take part in this project, whether it's possible to participate in, or what's the best way by which this program is to be taken. He says that the best variant would be, first of all, to take the course of the client-friend management and the communication course as the main course, and as the subordinate this program try to take place and to participate in SHAD technology transmission project. This would be just one of the best professional aspects, allowing you in the period of time of a year and a half become, let me say, a real monster in the sphere of contract laws and negotiations, and especially in the sphere of complex business security. Moreover, of course, the variants may vary because there are already certain people who are experts in this sphere, who are working in the sphere of complex business security for quite a long period of time, and they need just to heighten their level of proficiency and to expand their knowledge and to take these very instruments, to take these very technologies out of this source, because there are no other sources out of which they could be ever taken from. So the main idea is that the variants are different, the variants are present, and this is just the personal choice of any expert.